Welcome back everyone to the Builders Coach Show. I'm Jess, I'm here with Kurt today for this very first official episode of 2025. How are you, Kurt?
Fantastic, man. It's good to be back. I think I had like 3 or 4 days too much holiday, to be honest. I was itching to get back, just missing the dopamine of being back. But it was fascinating, like on the break, or coming back actually, off the break. It made me realize how quickly you can slip into being a sloth.
Yeah.
You know, when you just go off a cliff, you know, because it's, you know, it's like you're playing high-speed Tetris. Next thing you're not, it's Christmas, New Year's, your diet goes out the window, you're not training as much. And it's easy to just like, you can see how people just become very slothful, you know?
Yeah, I think, so we had a week away, we went to the Maldives for the holidays. And then on our way back, we were both, you know, ready, pumped, really happy, you know, to start the year 2025. We've defined our goals, we had some clarity, etc. But then, it was a bit hard to just get back into it, right? Every day we're kind of like, oh, well, wait, just another more day of like just chilling. And obviously we had the kids also, so we were still on the holiday mode. But yeah, just it's been a little bit tricky to just get back into it, even if you have some level of clarity. It's just
well, you're getting that steam train back up to speed, right?
And that's right.
I was looking back at like my previous self from last year, almost like resenting that version of myself, because I'm like, that guy was like playing high-speed Tetris at pace and had the steam train, you know, going full tilt. Now I've got to get back to that, which is going to require big effort, and then outperform your previous self. You know what I mean? So I was like, geez, here we go. This is going to require a bit of legwork.
Yeah, but proof of a good break, right? And we all need it. We all need to like, you know, relax a little bit and take some time out. So I hope you guys listening had a bit of time to just relax and think through a few things. But on that topic, so you've been talking with your clients already.
Yes, back in the saddle.
Back into it. So how are your clients feeling about 2025? Are they excited, nervous? What's the kind of emotions around that? And what are you know, what's one of the important things you want to talk about to them?
Yeah, sure. I mean, that's exactly what I'm opening up my conversations with. Like when I see someone for the first time since last year, it's like, so how are you feeling about 2025? And very importantly, what's your level of clarity? What clarity do you have around the things you want to achieve? So do you have your top 3 goals for this year outlined? And then do you have a 12-week plan in place? Do you have clarity around what you're going to work on for the first 12 weeks of the year? And that's a question I'll ask anyone listening now. Like, how do you feel about 2025 and what's your level of clarity? Do you have a plan? You know, is that plan aligned with your vision? On the break, it's a good time to stop, reflect and review. We did that while we're flying over to the Maldives, just reflecting and reviewing on 2024, getting clarity, revisiting vision and mission, you know, go broad and then bring it back in, looking at the goals for the year ahead, and then a 12-week plan. So the 12-week plan needs to be aligned with the vision. And then the next question is, are you working that plan? Have you started working that plan and moving it forward? And by the way, if anyone listening hasn't, don't feel bad. Most businesses don't have that or can't answer yes to those 3 questions. Do you have a plan? Is the plan aligned with your vision? And are you working that plan? But that's essentially what you want to have. And then that ties into the first question, how are you feeling? And when you've got clarity is power. It's very motivating, and you feel good. Feel good about the year ahead, confident.
It's hard because obviously, as we said, it's a little bit harder to get back into the game, and we're already mid-January, so a couple of weeks gone. Feels like Q1 is just a little bit shorter than the other ones. So in your 12-week plan, do you cater that in? Do you make sure that you don't put in too much, but it is realistic objectives?
Always. Like the first 12-week plan you ever do, for people that have done this and have subscribed to the that process, I suppose, or the philosophy, because it is a mindset as well, a 12-week plan. In fact, there's a great book called 12-Week Year, That 12-Week Year. I think it is. I forget the name of the author or the authors because it's co-authored. But, as you do more, it's a skill development thing. From a leadership perspective, your ability to create a plan that you don't put too much in or too little in, becomes a skill you develop. Once you've done 15 of them, you get a bit of a feel for what's realistic. But you also want to, ideally live on the edge of your potential. You want to push yourself. You want to create a healthy amount of pressure, which is what the 12-week plan does. Mm-hmm. I always point to it as, or refer to it as an accountability tool, because that's what it's there to do, is to hold you accountable to getting things done. But you're right, like this first quarter of the year, you lose half a Jan, but then you've got to factor that in. And you can also get people to help you with the implementation, which is what our best clients do. They have someone in the office or a partner helping with the execution of certain business development systems and processes, or they access a specialist service provider that does the work for them. And that way they can focus on multiple tasks and accelerate their progress.
And obviously making sure there's also a part of fun into that, right? Like It's not all work related.
You want to build in islands of fun. So weekends away, holidays, what's that one overseas trip? Someone was talking about it's an aeroplane holiday. So it's a holiday where they're going to have to get in an aeroplane. Yeah, but there's weekends away. You can, we spoiled for choice here in Sydney, up and down the coast. We can go inland. There's so many different weekend getaways that we can do, with the kids, get into nature. So it's good to have those things booked in, have those little islands of fun set up, and then have fun. Well, and that's a choice, right? The good thing about the break is also, time to reflect on your goals, but also your habits and routines, right? That's another thing. Is what are the habits and routines you want to change? Maybe it's health, fitness, diet. I was speaking to someone this morning, he stopped drinking and taking sugar. He's having sugar in his coffee, and then 2 coffees a day, 2 sugars per coffee. So that's 4 sugars a day. And I think he lost 10 kilos just doing those 2 things. No alcohol, no sugar, which is easier said than done. That's a big one. Yeah. But you can make having fun be a habit as well. Build it into your routine. Do things that are fun. Yeah.
I think you were telling me about one of your clients up in Perth, making sure that
that they have fun with the team. Yes, the guy's wife is Mike is the guy that I was thinking of. His wife's the chief vibe officer for the business. So every 3 months they do something fun. They go play golf, they go surfing, they have a couple of beers, go out for lunch. But she's the one that organises that. And then, cool. Based on the team and what season it is, they do something fun. Yeah.
Okay, I want to talk to you about something you and I discussed earlier this week, which is really mindset training. I think you had a few things you wanted to share about that, and maybe also how can that help builders and their company?
Well, look, everything we've been talking about so far is about attention management, right? Attention management over time management. We ran some time management workshops last year, and that was the thing that became very apparent, is where you focusing your attention. Where attention goes, energy flows. So understanding, what you want to focus on. And we apply the Pareto principle, 80-20 rule. 20% of the systems or processes give you 80% of your results, which are profit, workflow, cash flow. So knowing what they are is really, really important. And then deciding what's going to go into your 12-week plan. Okay, that's where you're going to choose to focus your attention from a business development perspective. All right, but it goes beyond that, because within leadership, you get mindset. And a lot of our clients, they come to us because they want to optimize their results. They want to optimize their profit, their cash flow, their workflow. They want to build a dream team, create an amazing culture. So they're really pushing the boundaries of what they can do. They want to be the best version of themselves and create the best possible business that they can, that makes the most significant contribution. And leadership is key. Your business will never outgrow your leadership. And I've done a lot of research and studying on peak performance. And there's a lot of parallels between business and professional sport and the military as well. So we've had speakers, it's ex-special forces come in and talk to us about the leadership training that they do and the mindset around that. But I was listening to a guy, Michael Gervais. He's the sports psychologist for the Seattle Seahawks. So I love, I love rugby union. So I'm a big Springbok supporter. They've won back-to-back World Cups, right? And then you get, their biggest opponent would be the All Blacks. All right. So the culture within the Springboks is in the pursuit of excellence. And then they've got like an X factor. They've got the Nelson Mandela factor from the 95 World Cup. The All Blacks have got an amazing culture as well. But rugby union as a sport, as a business, because those brands they're a business, all right? So there's a financial component to what they do. They pale in significance to the sports here in Australia, like rugby league and AFL. In terms of dollar like revenue, just annual revenue that comes in from those codes, right? And then the US is just another level again. So if you look at the Super Bowl that's coming up, it's massive, right? So the Seattle Seahawks, and Michael Jarrell was talking about this, like they won, I think it was 2014, stand to be corrected, they won the Super Bowl, and then they were playing again in a grand final of the Super Bowl. In 2015, so had an opportunity to win back-to-back, but they didn't. They lost in the dying seconds, I think, to Patriots. So it was like this devastating thing, but he was sharing the peak performance mindset and how they train the players, not only the players, but the coach and the coaching staff as well, because they've all got to walk their talk. If they're going to, recommend a certain mindset for the team, they need to be using it themselves. So he was talking about how they choose to focus their attention, which again ties into what we're talking about before, right? Your plan, your 12-week plan, your goals, you're choosing to focus your attention on something. And then when you decide, okay, these are the things I'm going to work on, or this is what I'm going to focus on, you're automatically excluding a whole lot of other things, which can create decision fatigue, right? So that can be something that creates it's a bit headache inducing. But anyway, peak performance mindset, what they're doing is they're focusing on what they can control versus what they can't. So in a big game, if someone screws up, right, they knock the ball on or something, or there's an intercept, which is how they lost that second grand final. They could have gone back to back in the dying seconds. There was an intercept. They can't worry about that. Like if you've just made a mistake, thinking about the past, you can't change the past. So literally in the moment, straight after you've just stuffed up, they've got to choose to focus on something else. Now, it's not easy to do, easier said than done, right? So the process behind it is they come into the present moment, and the way they do that is using, and most people will be familiar with this, mindfulness breathing. So breathing in, 1, out, 2, and then they shift their focus over to a pre-programmed vision or image of themselves doing something really amazing. So they just shift over to a positive mindset straight away. And that's the other thing, is the positivity and being optimistic. So within these peak performance teams, and like the level of like competitiveness with these guys is off the chart, right? Like it's unbelievable how competitive they are. But there's guys in the team that are leaders for the other players, right? They mentor and coach and are like the leaders within this peak performance environment. And they have the highest level of optimism or positivity. So guys like Michael Jordan, right, they'll stuff up because no one's perfect. So they're going to make a mistake. And then immediately afterwards, they're like, give me the ball. Give me the ball. Like that's their level of confidence, which is what this really is, the optimism and the positivity, it's confidence, which in some cases can be seen as borderline arrogance, right, or narcissism. But it's like a healthy confidence and positive, optimism, which is so, so important for peak performance. If you're really interested in doing the best that you can at anything, you've got to be positive. You've got to be optimistic. But it flies in the face of our natural sort of mindset. And this is the interesting thing that I discovered, okay, about this peak performance mindset and the process I go through. Something they discovered was this thing called this default mode network, which is a part of our reptilian brain that kicks in when we stop doing things. So when you actively doing something, working, and you're dealing with something that's quite intense or requires focus and attention, that default mode network shuts down. When you stop, like when you go on holiday, and this may have happened to anyone listening, tell me if this happened, it comes alive, right? And what it is a predominantly negative thing. It's repetitive negative thoughts, predominantly, not for everyone, but for a very high percentage of people. There's always outliers. And it's just thinking, it's this part of your brain that just thinks about all the things that maybe you said that you shouldn't have. It's looking back, and it can just go on a negative loop as well, right? And play again and again in your head. Now, the fact that you can see your thoughts means you're not your thoughts. Okay, so there's like a consciousness behind your thoughts. And this comes back to what these Seattle Seahawks guys do. They will recognize a negative thought process or this default mode network kicking in, which, by the way, it's there 47% of the time. of it throughout your life, 47% of the time, this default mode network is going to kick in. So once you're aware of it, you can see that this negative thing's playing in your head. You can then taking control and focusing on what you can control. You can choose to shut it down. The way to shut it down is mindfulness breathing. Once you focus on something, I was speaking to a guy just yesterday, he meditates. And he was talking about when he meditates, his mind gets clear. Okay, so that's shutting down that default mode network. And then in that clear state, you can then choose to focus your attention onto something more positive. And you can set that up. Tony Robbins has got a process for this as well. And it's phenomenal. You want to say something?
Yeah, so just picking on a few things you've said. So it resonates with me what you just said, because I remember when I used to do some big presentations for clients, you obviously get, not stressed out, but like you focus and you're quite, just very focused. And then you go into your presentation, and just right after that, it's kind of a release. You just like, now you're cool again. Yeah. But all of a sudden you start thinking of like, did I explain this properly?
I should have said this. I could have done that.
And then you nearly rethink of what happened, but then changes words here and there, or change sentences. Yeah. And it's like on repeat mode. You're right. Like it just goes. And I think, and that ties back to the athletes also, and what you said, the ability to just go, okay, I'm letting that go. Like, don't think about it anymore. It's really the concept of like, dusting yourself off and keep moving forward. It's quite hard to do, right? But if you consciously, you recognize, I say, wow, what am I doing now? I'm just thinking about this thing that I can no longer change because it's already happened. But if you got the ability of seeing that and just saying, okay, it's happened, I'm letting it go. Now focus on the next thing. Then
the reality is, though, you can't just let it go. Because thoughts are involuntary. So you don't choose the thoughts you have. None of us do. They just pop up. Like if you ever just sit by yourself, and that's why I think people are so distracted these days. They jump on and they're watching YouTube videos or on X and social media, and they're going through Reels and TikTok or whatever else it is, distracting their mind because they don't want to go into a calm, it's when you're calm and relaxed and you just sit by yourself, right? That's when this default mode network kicks in. And really, once you understand what it is, it's just reptilian brain. Like our ancestors spent like most days for thousands of years just trying to stay alive, not get eaten, and then find enough food to. And so most days they were malnourished, and then they didn't live long. They got taken out, right? So that's in our DNA. Now we don't have that problem. We're not, worried about getting taken out, and there's plenty of food. So that's why it's predominantly negative. It's looking for things that could go wrong and negative. It's on a natural negative thing. But saying to yourself, hey, I'm just going to let it go, it won't work. You need to shut it down. The only way you can shut your mind down is through meditation or mindfulness. Yeah. And it works. Sam Harris's app, the Waking Up app's perfect. Where I've had a couple of guys completely change their lives. 10-minute meditation, it literally shuts down your thoughts. So your mind goes clear. Once you're in that clear state, then you can choose to shift your focus onto a positive image of yourself. Think back to a time when you had the best day ever and you were winning and things were going well. Yeah. So practicing that, and that's what the Seattle Seahawks guys are doing. And because they're so extremely competitive, they were internalizing, at least one of the guys, the coach, I was listening to an audiobook or a podcast, and he was saying he was using the fact that he is so competitive to compete with himself, to not allow this negativity to come in, because he understands the benefits from a peak performance perspective, to stay positive and be optimistic and lead, which is, it's profound, but it's the devil's in the detail, right? It's just knowing the process, and then you can take control. And most people are completely unaware of the fact that they can do that.
Yeah. On that note also, I saw a video like literally a couple of days ago of this man explaining that the simple fact of visualizing yourself doing something positive, like imagine like you winning this game or something like that, or something successful. Just the fact of thinking about it, it actually creates the neural pathways in your brain, and your brain already gets a little bit of that emotion. And so it's kind of, and so when it will happen, it's kind of like nearly a repetition, or like you've already created the neuron, so it's going to go there quicker. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know
And
if I
then
explained that very well.
No, but you reinforce it, and that impacts your belief system as well.
Yeah.
So, it really is about, thoughts, feelings, actions, results, and then recognizing that you can take control at the thought stage, but you can't just let it go. It's not going to go away on its own. You need a process like mindfulness and meditation, and then shift across, and then have something positive you're going to think about that's going to then set up those new neural pathways, like you say. But I love that stuff, man. It's so powerful. It's good to see that they use it in sport.
Yeah.
And the military as well. They train. The military is different. They disassociate. So because they're going through this, I mean, if they focus on what's, one of their the closest people to them, and they say the bond that those special forces have is stronger than any bond a human can have, because they literally, prepared to put their lives on the line for someone else. But when one of those guys dies next to them, they haven't got time to think about it. They cannot allow anything, so they actually learn to disassociate, which is why a lot of them suffer from PTSD, because you can't just push it aside and then not deal with it. And that's the other thing. Like, this isn't something that you can use if you're going through trauma, right? Like, if you go through a breakup, divorce, or death, like, you're going to have to process the emotion still, and that's a different conversation. Like, allow an emotion. I'm a full armchair psychologist today, but
Yeah, wow.
I mean, the reality is you do need to ideally process those emotions, because you're going to have to do it somehow. You're just going to delay it.
It's going to come out somehow.
Yeah, exactly. So that's a different thing. You can't just bypass going through grief, for example, the stages of grief.
Yeah.
But day to day, from a peak performance perspective, your mindset is like so important. And everyone knows, like, if people are going, wow, these guys are really going down the rabbit hole, there's plenty of examples, like in sport, where the sports person is not as talented as the other one. Could be in tennis, golf, whatever, but they get a better result just through mindset.
Yeah.
They outperform more talented players, yeah.
Awesome. So that's all about mindset training, really important, crucial part of it. I want to talk about success, or definition of success. I know you speak to a lot of clients about, the 7-figure club and how to get there. But I think a lot of your clients sometimes say that that's not
purpose.
just it, right?
So, purpose, meaning why. So why are you doing things? It's talking about setting goals, revisiting your vision and mission. So why do you want to, make a lot of money, or have a business that's successful that works without you? And that why question is really important, because a lot of builders come to us now, as you know, because they want to get into the 7-figure club. Because we've helped a lot of builders get there. That's netting $1 million within a 12-month period after all expenses, including wages to self, but before tax. And then they set up a development arm, right? That's not the solution. They're not happier when they get in the 7-figure club. Yes, it's actually fun, and a lot of the fun comes from the process, like the pursuit of going through the journey and then learning things and becoming the type of leader you need to build a team and everything else. But once they get there, it's often like, well, what now?
Yeah,
and it had happened recently. One of the guys got there a lot quicker. Sometimes it happens a little bit longer than they expect. Like 3 years is a healthy timeline to get in there. And we've got at least 4 that have got into the 7-figure club within, 4 years or 3 years of starting their business. But I had a guy recently, he went way past, like overshot the mark in terms of results. So significant amount of net worth, equity, property, had some things really go well for him, and the stars aligned. But he said to me, like, what am I going to do now? Like, I've gone way beyond what I thought I would in this time frame. So what am I just going to build another 100 homes? Is that what I'm going to be doing with my life? I'm just going to build. It's like if you won the lotto or something, you got 120 million bucks, and you went to all your favorite destinations around the world. You bought your dream house, and then you're there. Like, now what?
Yeah.
So what happens now? What are you actually going to do? We need purpose and meaning, right? And I think there's a lot to be said for our need as a species to slay some dragons, right? And I think that's why I might have felt like, Jesus, holiday just keeps going. I could have come back 3-4 days early, because we feel like there's this like innate desire to go and conquer, to go and do stuff, right?
Yeah.
So
I think also a lot of people would define success in a financial way, right? Money. Like if you ask, I'm sure if you ask people, what's your idea of success? A lot will say, I want this amount of money.
It's a means to an end, right?
Yeah. But then when you start really thinking about it, it's kind of like, yes, of course, there's the financial aspect of it, but what else does success mean to you? Like there's another part to it than just money.
Exactly. So money's one thing, and money's great because it's, again, a means to an end. It gives you the opportunity to do lots of things. You can help lots of people. Okay, so anyone who's like a socialist who doesn't believe in money or capitalism, well, like just ask them, how many more people can you help with money? Look at Bill and Melinda Gates, how many people have helped in the things they've done. So money's amazing, and any problem that you have that money can solve is no longer a problem in your life. So it gives you lifestyle choice, it gives you opportunity, but there's more than that. And I say this all the time, like it's not the money, but it's who you become in the pursuit of money that's way, way more important. Yeah. And that goes back to, the coach of the Seattle Seahawks was talking about this, Maslow's hierarchy of needs and self-actualization. It's really becoming the best person that you can, understanding yourself, like above all, know yourself, and then choosing to live on the edge of your potential every day, which means getting out of your comfort zone and being uncomfortable to the extent that you become comfortable being uncomfortable, knowing that you're always growing by going there. Not everyone wants to do that, right? Like society sells us a different message. Like it's telling you to make money, get comfortable, retirement, relax, do nothing. Like it's complete and utter BS. It's not what we engineered to do. You know, and look, if someone can, no judgment, if they can just sit back, eat potato chips, watch Netflix all day, fine. But I think we made for more than that. And the value is in who you become. Yeah. Because that comes back to, I always say, like, fuck you money is not just having enough money to say F you to someone. It's knowing that you know how to make money so that if you lost everything that you have, you would just make it back again. Yeah. And they say if they divide all the money up in the world equally amongst everyone, it'll quickly go back to the people that have it now because they know how to hold on to it. All right. So there's people you and I know, if you gave them 100 mil or 10 mil today, 5 years from now, it'll be gone. It'll slip through their fingers because they don't have the financial acumen to hold on to it. So that's, I think, the real value. And ideally have something that you can pursue for the rest of your life. Like if you're having fun, consistently getting out of your comfort zone, growing, becoming a better person, leader, making money, happy clients, happy team, happy family, fit and healthy, why wouldn't you keep doing that when you're like 90 years old? Yeah. Why would you stop doing it and just do nothing? That's what leads to dementia and, Alzheimer's and people's brains just slowing down. So I think that's it. But here's the interesting thing as well, right? I was talking about outperforming my previous self. So whatever Kurt was doing in 2024, I've got to do that and more or better. Not necessarily more, but get better do more at working smarter. Right. Smarter, so work harder this year at being smarter and doing different things and getting out of my comfort zone, because whatever got us to where we are is not going to get us to where we want to go. Okay, so consistently doing that. So that's the important thing to do. But when you achieve a certain level of success and you're already doing great, now you've got to step it up, okay, to the next level. And there's another great book. I forget the title, but Dan Carter, any All Blacks fans, right? His latest book. I forget what it's called, but he talks about that. Like you have a fantastic year. Now the next year you've got to improve on that. And then that becomes really, really difficult the higher up you climb. And the higher up you climb, the less people there are that are successful as well. So I was talking to you earlier about Chris Williamson, right? The podcaster. He was saying that. So he's achieved a significant amount of success. I think he's got 3.5 million followers now, going on 4. And he can't just stop there. You know, people looking up at him or people that know him go, wow, you've achieved amazing success. That's awesome. You must be so happy. And he is happy and he's feeling fulfilled, but he needs to keep improving, keep going. So then, and then like he was saying, there's few people that have achieved that level of success. The ones that he knows that have are all busy doing their thing. So they don't really have time to talk to him. So you feel very alone and isolated. And if you complain to the people beneath you, they're like, what the hell's wrong with you? Yeah, you've made it.
Because they don't understand it.
Exactly. So there's people listening that have a business, and they'd know the majority of people that maybe they know or in their community don't have a business. They work for someone else, and their dream is to work for themselves, to have that freedom. So they're like, wow, you've done that. But they don't understand the challenges associated with that and having to continually improve. So just know that's what you're signing up for. So the message, it doesn't get easier as you climb up. And the 7-figure club, making $1 million and setting it up so you can do whatever you want, is not going to be the solution. It's great to get there. It's just a milestone to get you towards the next level, which ultimately is self-actualization.
Yeah. So I didn't ask you at the beginning of this podcast, but so 2025 for you, what are you excited about?
So the thing I'm most excited about is our community, right? Like our strength is our community, the people that we work with, both the clients and all our joint venture partners as well. We've got like amazing people, and I love bringing them together, like getting them together, running live events, and then seeing the cross-pollination that occurs and steel sharpening steel, and because it's a rare thing. People that are absolutely obsessed with being the best at what they can, or with being the best at what they do, it's probably 1 in 100. The guys that we work with, maybe less. So just getting them together and then seeing what happens. The sum of the parts greater than the whole. Yeah. So our events, I'd have to say, very excited about that. We've got some real estate things happening, and
so which event can we look forward to? Do you have a few dates already?
Our next event's next month. I believe it's the 21st of February. So it's in Queensland. So like you're hearing it here first. We haven't announced specifics yet, but it'll probably be out when this goes live, I'd say.
Awesome.
Bris Vegas.
Bris Vegas. Great. Well, thanks for that. I think that's it for this episode. I did have a couple of things I wanted to share with you. Some fun facts because we were talking about time management.
Yeah.
So do you want to hear them?
Let's do it.
Okay, so you know how we've been talking about multitasking and focus, and you're always pretty adamant about, focusing on one thing, and multitasking is just like you're losing time, basically. I had a couple of stats that I got from ChatGPT on that. So it takes on average 23 minutes and 15 seconds to fully regain focus after you've been interrupted from doing a task. Okay, so 23 minutes.
That's incredible. I heard it was around 19 minutes. I've heard research. So that like 20 minutes, absolutely. Yeah. I can't believe it. So that's why it's so important to create some quiet time, which is becoming more and more difficult, right, in this day and age, because we live in the attention economy.
And for everyone who has kids at home right now because it's school holidays, we feel for you, because I know I've been interrupted so many times, and you have a thought and you go like, what?
Kids are amazing at that, right?
So anyway, 23 minutes to get focus again, which consequently multitasking can reduce productivity up to 40%.
Wow.
Yes, because of this switching task. And then last thing about multitasking, so the constant interruption and multitasking increase mental fatigue, obviously, which can lead to a 30% higher chance of, higher risk of burnout.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah.
So in terms of routines and habits for 2025, that would be a good one, is to create quiet time, switch off all notifications, phone, email, and then focus on just those tasks. 80-20 rule, the 20% of tasks that require deep concentration, but are also dollar productive activities, like maybe doing a quote or reviewing a quote or reviewing a plan. I mean, you should really be outsourcing your quoting to someone else in charge of the quotes. But whatever task it is that's important, business development stuff.
Yeah, and block it into your calendar. Block in the time, and then it's
go to a different place if you need to. Go to a room. Go to what are those shared
working
workplaces?
Space? Yeah. Yes. Last two things. These are funny things. Did I mention the phantom buzz syndrome to you the other day?
Is that when your phone, you think your phone's ringing, but it's not?
Yeah, so and to show you how addicted we are to our phones, or how dependent we are.
Yeah.
So this phantom buzz syndrome is 90% of people report feeling their phone vibrating in their pocket when it actually hasn't.
I've had that happen. You had that happen?
I've had it happen.
Yeah,
yes.
a lot, yeah.
Yeah, it's happened to me more than once, for sure. Yeah. Which is a testament to our distraction habits, really. So that's a funny one for you. And then last one, people spend on average 2.5 hours per day on social media. Okay.
Yeah.
Which means you could lose about 5 years of your life scrolling through social media.
Yeah, that's incredible.
When you say 5 years of your life, isn't that shocking though? You're like, wow.
But hey, I don't know. Like, it's a lot of people on there. I saw Zuckerberg talking to Joe Rogan recently. 3.5 billion. Like, you use it. Because he asked him, he didn't say how many people on it. He said how many are actually using it every day, using it. 3.5 billion. That is an unbelievable off-the-chart number. All right. But I don't know. I think it's like, it's dangerous. I don't jump on there. I mean, I do jump on X to try to get some news. There's people I follow on YouTube, and I try and get my information from independent sources who I've qualified. And there's amazing content there. Like, there's really good quality content, and you can connect with people through social media. I've had people that I've connected with that I would never have otherwise. But it's your ability to be able to be discerning and know when to switch it off, which is hard when it's giving you this dopamine response, right?
Yeah,
it's more addictive than cocaine, man. Not cocaine, heroin.
Yeah, which I think my comment there is really like, be targeted and be mindful in terms of what you're watching and what you're using it for, right? Because there's people just scrolling like this, and it's just, I mean, cat videos or whatever it is. So it's like, if you're doing that 2.5 hours a day, like, is that really worth your time? Probably not.
I know people that do 30 minutes a day. And then it's about discipline, right? So 30 minutes, put a timer on, that's it. Yeah. And they give themselves 30 minutes.
If that's your break, like, if it's just, I'm just going to do this.
And it's after they've done something important, which, by the way, I forgot to mention, eating that frog is a very important thing. I think we've spoken about it before, right? So choosing the most difficult thing that you want to do for the day, and then do that first thing. I did it this morning, right? Boom. But I was speaking to one of my builders this week, and the sticking point was he wasn't thinking about what that frog is before he did it. So the night before, so this afternoon or tonight, think about what is that thing on my to-do list that I'm going to do first. Mark it, underline it, highlight it, whatever it is, put it in your phone. Yeah. And then in the morning do that thing. And the motivation and drive you get from it. Yeah. There's Andrew Huberman. He's like a neuroscientist.
Oh, yes, I know.
Dr. Huberman.
Yeah.
He was talking about, I spoke to you about it, the dopamine that you get from doing something difficult first up is so powerful. It literally, and these are his words, right, changes who you are. So I'd recommend that. Just do that one. If you're going to do one thing this year, do that. Decide which frog you're going to eat, and then execute.
We spoke about eating that frog. You mean as opposed to waking up in the morning and deciding what your frog is for today? It's really this next step is deciding the evening.
You know what it is?
So that in the morning you get up, and you
and then don't let that thing plague your thoughts. If it comes in because you're worried about you got to fire someone or whatever. Yeah. Mindfulness, shift your brain away. Yeah. Because negative thoughts, which then cause negative emotions, which then impact your behavior and results, have no utility. I heard Charlie Munger said that. Negative thoughts negative emotions have no utility. Okay, it doesn't mean you shouldn't grieve if you're going through a difficult time, but just know unnecessary negativity is not going to help you one little bit. Someone cuts you off in traffic, something happens to you, someone betrays you, lies to you, doesn't pay you. Yes, you can get pissed off. Mindfulness, shift over, go get shit done.
Yeah. Awesome.
That matters. Yeah.
Well, thanks for this episode. Guys, I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you in the next one.
Always a pleasure. See you guys soon. Take care.